In this underwater world, most creatures are both predators and prey. Their lives depend on the weapons they are born with. Some weapons are conspicuous. Others are subtle, but no less deadly. Here live creatures protected by forests of toxic spines and arsenals of paralyzing harpoons. For these animals, survival often depends upon a violent discharge of venom. To survive here, most creatures must feed on others and at the same time avoid becoming prey themselves. To confuse predators, some animals travel in dense schools. Others are protected by heavy suits of armor. Some rely on size, power, and deadly fangs. But this is the story of creatures who carry weapons that are exquisitely subtle, and yet no less effective than the razor-sharp teeth of the shark. These are the creatures armed with venom. Many venomous creatures advertise their weapons with flamboyant color. Nudibranchs are sea slugs. Many are protected by powerful stinging cells lining the feather-like serrata on their backs. But amazingly, these venomous cells are not grown by nudibranchs. They are stolen. The stinging cells actually belong to hydroids and sea anemones, whose venomous tentacles are deadly snares for tiny prey. Swarms of diminutive crustaceans and tiny fish drift over the reef and pass through the waiting tentacles of anemones. Contact with the tentacles causes venom-laden harpoons, called pneumatocysts, to fire, paralyzing or killing the prey before the anemone draws the tiny meal down into its mouth. These are the venomous cells that some nudibranchs steal, and this is one of the largest thieves, the rainbow nudibranch. Although essentially blind, the rainbow nudibranch crawls over the sea floor, hunting tube anemones by smell. If startled, the anemone is quick to withdraw into the safety of its tube, so the nudibranch must approach delicately. Immune to the sting, the sea slug dives face first into the tangle of tentacles, devouring as many as he can. The rainbow nudibranch has harvested a meal. He's also bolstered his defenses. The anemone's stinging cells will not be destroyed. Instead, they will be passed undigested through the nudibranch's gut and transferred to their new defensive post in the serrata on his back. Many nudibranchs steal their stinging cells. It's an excellent defense strategy, but it's not perfect. This is Navanax, a sea slug with an appetite for nudibranchs. He's immune to their sting, so when he catches one, the nudibranch's stolen stingers are no defense. Other animals use anemone venom for defense in less subtle ways. Anemone fish simply make their homes within a forest of stinging tentacles. Their bodies secrete a mucus that protects them from the anemone's arsenal of venomous harpoons. Here, another animal uses anemones for protection. The anemone hermit crab cultivates a garden of stinging anemones on his borrowed shell. But hermits eventually outgrow their shells. And for this crab, it's time for a change. The new shell is a good fit, but his anemone garden is too valuable to be left behind. The anemones are an excellent protection against the crab's deadliest enemy, the octopus. So they too must move. The hermit's gentle prodding is a signal to the anemones to release their grip. The anemones don't want to be left behind. They benefit from being transported to good feeding grounds by the crab, so they submit to relocation willingly. Finally, his task is complete. Now the crab has a new home, as well as the protection of his venomous garden. A close relative to sea anemones is drifting over the reef. Jellyfish are essentially self-propelled anemones who drag their venomous tentacles in tow. At times, converging currents gather moon jellyfish together by the millions, creating pulsating clouds of translucent jewels. The night sea sparkles with plankton, juvenile fish, and transparent killers. This 10-inch predator packs a sting of incredible intensity. It's a sea wasp. Contact with some species can cause agonizing death in a full-grown man. Any creature that touches the wasp's stinging tentacles is almost instantly killed. Then it is pulled into the body of the wasp and slowly digested. Dark clouds are passing over the reef. But this is no meteorological phenomenon. This is a cloud of thimble jellyfish. Thimble jellies travel together in massive swarms. Without eyes to see or a brain to think, just how they stay together is unknown. But they manage nonetheless. Although armed with a potent venom, thimble jellies are relished by many of the reef's inhabitants, who are immune to the sting. This green sea turtle snaps up thimbles like popcorn. Perhaps the venom adds a spicy burn to the flavor. As the swarm approaches the reef, other animals move out to sample the exotic meal. Despite the sting, a French angelfish also seems pleased with the bite-sized morsels. A mysterious monster is rising from the depths. Its pulsating bell is over 2 feet in diameter. A squadron of these giant jellyfish has risen from the abyss. They are a new species, completely unknown to science. And riding among venomous folds are other strange visitors from far away. A medusa fish is resistant to the jelly's sting and finds refuge behind the deadly umbrella. A weird crab clings to the bell of one giant. It seems to be scraping stinging cells from the skin of the jellyfish and depositing them on strange tufts attached to its rear legs. It's a behavior never before seen, and it remains entirely unexplained. These creatures are unintentional visitors to shallow waters, and many will die along these rocky shores. As they pass over the reef, bright orange Garibaldi and other reef fish ascend to sample a culinary novelty. The taste is unique and seems to be worth the occasional twinge. Concealed beneath this sand lies one of the most venomous creatures on Earth. And here is its prey, a redhead goby. An orange worm would make a welcome meal, but this is no worm. It's the proboscis of a cone snail, and it is armed with a tiny but deadly harpoon. The goby tries to take a bite, but cannot cut through the orange tube. Finally, the goby gives up. But turning your back on a cone snail is a deadly mistake. A touch from the proboscis can inflict paralysis and death. Now, the cone snail fires its harpoon, and the goby is instantly paralyzed. Slowly, the paralyzed fish is engulfed and drawn toward the stomach of the mollusk. It is a meal that will satisfy the snail's appetite for several weeks. On this sandy plain, a fire urchin advertises its venomous spines with spectacular color. There is no mistaking the warning here. The slightest touch can cause searing pain. But there is one for whom these needle-sharp spines and powerful venom is the bread of life. It's the helmet conch. The conch crawls slowly over the sand, following the scent trails of urchins. The helmet must approach carefully. If alarmed, the urchin will run. The helmet's strategy is to pin the urchin beneath its heavy shell long enough to kill it. Venomous spines puncture the mollusk's skin, but the conch is immune to the sting. A 1,000 spines and tube feet provide lots of traction, and this urchin simply proves too large for the conch to hold. The fire urchin runs away in full gallop, leaving the helmet no chance for pursuit. Venom has allowed one family of fish to become successful in all the oceans of the world. These are the scorpion fish. Their dorsal spines are surrounded by sheaths loaded with venom. But scorpion fish use their venom only for defense. Their most powerful offensive weapon is camouflage. The scorpion fish is not a strong swimmer. To capture prey, he relies on ambush. For defense, he has supreme confidence in his quiver of deadly spines. But there are other hunters here whose weapons are equally formidable. Only the desperately hungry would attack a scorpion fish, a fact of which this scorpion is arrogantly aware. But this moray eel is hungry enough to eat anything. The scorpion fish attempts his escape too late. Now, his only defense is to erect his row of dorsal spines. Despite the venomous spines, the eel swallows the scorpionfish. The pain inflicted by this desperate meal must only be exceeded by the pain of hunger. There are dozens of varieties of scorpionfish. Each is well camouflaged for the part of the ocean in which it lives. For some, their camouflage is so perfect they can only be seen if they move. Nature has gone to amazing lengths to conceal some scorpionfish from their prey. This weedy scorpionfish is a magnificent example. Even his venomous spines are well concealed among strange appendages. This is perhaps the strangest of scorpionfish. It's called the demon stinger. Everything about this fish is simply weird. Even the way he moves is odd. Instead of swimming, he drags himself across the bottom with modified hook-like fins. On his back, venomous spines jut out in all directions. The demon is only conspicuous as long as he moves. When he stops, he easily makes himself invisible to predators and prey. The most flamboyant of all scorpionfish is the lionfish. He carries his venomous spines like banners of intimidation for all to see. And lionfish themselves come in a plethora of magnificent varieties. Their spectacular colors serve notice that they are well defended. But at night, these colors are muted under the cold lunar glow. When the moon is bright, lionfish become nocturnal hunters. Small fish passing the night sleeping next to the reef are prey for the predator. The lionfish uses his enormous pectoral fins to herd prey toward his mouth, then strikes, sucking the fish into his mouth with a powerful vacuum. The lionfish strike is so fast that it can only be appreciated in slow motion. For lionfish, the powerful venom carried in their dorsal spines serves only as a deterrent to attack. Why such deterrents are so often advertised with dazzling beauty remains one of the many secrets of this ocean realm.